Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're digging into a guide from Pendo that lays out the 10 essential KPIs. You know, the metrics that are completely changing the game for product success as we head into 2025.
All right, let's kick things off with this image, because it really nails the challenge for product leaders today. I mean, look at it. It's like you're trying to guide this whole crowd of individual choices up a massive mountain, all pointing towards one single goal. But yeah, the path, not always so clear.
And that really brings us to the core question, right? In a world that's just getting supercharged by AI, how do you even know you're going in the right direction? I mean, think about this. Gartner's predicting that a whopping 75% of companies will be using AI in their day-to-day operations by 2025. So yeah, the game is changing, big time. And that means the way we keep score has to change too.
Okay, so how do you navigate all that? You need a new playbook, right? A simple, clear way to cut through all the noise and just zero in on what actually matters.
Well, the guide we're looking at breaks it down into 3 really simple but super powerful categories. These are your KPIs, your key performance indicators. Just think of them as 3 different lenses to look at your product's health. First, how's it helping the business? Second, what are people actually doing with it? And third, is it even working well?
All right, let's dive into that first category, business outcomes. And right away, this is where we see one of the biggest changes happening. We're shifting from just looking in the rearview mirror, at historical data, to trying to actually predict what's coming down the road. Pulling a report on all the customers you lost last month, that's old news. It's looking backward. The real game changer now, and this is our very first KPI, is knowing who might be about to leave next month. And that's where something called predictive churn rate comes into play. It's basically using machine learning to put up a little red flag on users before they even think about hitting that cancel button. This gives you a shot to actually step in and do something about it, and that's absolutely huge.
So look at this comparison. It really shows the massive shift we're talking about. The old way was totally reactive, right? It was a post-mortem, trying to figure out why people already left. The new way? It's all about being proactive. You spot the warning signs, maybe their engagement drops, and you can automatically send them an offer to try and keep them. It's a whole different ballgame.
And look, this isn't just some abstract idea. Here's a quote from Becky Banasic at Cision. She says that being able to see these predictive trends for an entire account, not just one user, is a total game changer for them. It helps them figure out exactly what behaviors lead to customers sticking around for the long haul.
Okay, so that's super powerful, but it leads to the next logical question, doesn't it? Knowing who might leave is one piece of the puzzle. But what are they actually doing inside your product that's making them feel that way? Let's jump into our next section and dig into that.
All right, section 2. This is all about getting inside your users' heads. How are they behaving now, especially with all these new AI features popping up everywhere? The key here is to stop just measuring general stuff like logins and start understanding where they're finding real specific value.
And so our second big KPI is the AI feature adoption rate. Honestly, you should think of this as the ultimate gut check for your AI budget. You spent all this money and time building that cool new AI tool, but are people actually using it? This metric doesn't lie. It gives you the cold, hard truth.
And when you see a chart like this one, it tells you so much. You might see a number like 35% and think, ouch, that's low. But it's not a failure. It's a signal. It's data. It's telling you something. Maybe the feature isn't quite what users wanted, or maybe, and this is often the case, you just need to do a better job of showing them how to use it right inside the app.
Okay, so tracking specific features is super important. But let's be real, sometimes you need to zoom out. You need that one at-a-glance number, the big picture metric. Is the product overall doing okay?
And that's where our next big metric comes in. It's actually 3 KPIs rolled into one beautiful, simple score, the Product Engagement Score, or PEAS. It's a composite score, meaning it's made up of 3 things. And these are our next 3 KPIs, numbers 3, 4, and 5. Adoption. How many people are using your features? Stickiness. How often they're coming back to use them? And growth. Are you getting more users?
The math is actually dead simple. You just average those 3 things. But don't let that fool you. This is a seriously powerful number. Pendo's data team found a direct link. A high PS score is a great sign that a customer will renew. And a score that's dropping? That's your early warning system for churn. It's kind of like a heartbeat monitor for your entire product. And here's a perfect real-world example of how this works. Okta uses this kind of deep understanding to actually help their users. They can see who's struggling and proactively guide them, nudge them in the right direction to get the most value out of the product.
Okay, let's move on to our final section. We've talked about business value, we've talked about user behavior, but none of that matters if the product itself is broken. We're talking about quality and velocity. Because let's be honest, if your app is slow or full of bugs, who cares about your other metrics? This stuff is non-negotiable. It's the price of admission.
And people's patience for bad performance is basically zero these days. Get this, just a 1-second delay in your page load time can drop your conversions by 7%. That's insane. Performance isn't a feature anymore. It's just what people expect. Period. Which is exactly why you have to be obsessed with tracking our next 3 KPIs. That's 6, 7, and 8 on our list. System uptime, is it even on? Page load times, is it fast? And support ticket response times, are you helping people when they're stuck? These aren't just vanity metrics, they are literally the foundation of your users' trust in you.
And that idea of being responsive brings us to our last 2 KPIs, 9 and 10. Quality isn't just about tech specs, it's also about how well you listen. So, number 9 is feedback to feature velocity. In plain English, how fast can you take a user's idea and turn it into something real in the product? And number 10 is related. How many features are you shipping that are based on that feedback? You put those 2 together and it sends the clearest possible message to your users. We hear you.
Okay, we've gone through all 10 KPIs, so let's zoom back out. What's the big takeaway here? What's the fundamental shift in thinking that product leaders need to make for 2025?
It really comes down to these 3 things. First, you've got to shift from being historical to being predictive. Stop looking backwards, start looking forward. Second, move from just measuring general usage to measuring specific feature-level value. And third, ditch those slow feedback loops for a super fast cycle of listening and improving.
At the end of the day, the future here isn't about staring at a static dashboard that just tells you what happened yesterday. Thanks to AI, it's about having a dynamic, living system that helps you make decisions, one that helps you anticipate what's coming next, not just react to what's already happened.
And so, that's the question we want to leave you with. Your product is constantly changing, constantly evolving. So, are your measurements keeping up? Because in this new world, the most dangerous thing isn't building the wrong feature, it's measuring the wrong thing.